Good day, brothers and sisters. I'm Willie Brown, president of Local 234. I'll give you a brief update of what's going on around the union and the company. We're in battle again with SEPTA quite naturally over the Family Medical Leave Act when it comes to child care. SEPTA has taken the position that if you take intermittent leave and if it's emergency child care that you need, that you have to give them 2 weeks notice, which makes no sense whatsoever. If you have a 2 weeks notice, then that's not an emergency situation. So they have imposed that on the union, and we are in the process of filing an unfair labor practice because they negotiated this, imposed it. Second, we've already filed unfair labor practice as far as the pay. As you know, we're doing temperature screenings, and if your temperature is 100.4, they're sending you home. We are fighting now over what your pay should be. So we filed, the Department of Labor have picked the case up, so they're waiting to assign the case to one of their investigators. I feel good about that. The only problem is they're backed up right now, and it may be a while before we get these issues resolved, but we are fighting these issues. Which brings me to my next thing. I don't understand the membership. SEPTA come around and they give you a slice of pizza and a lunch meat sandwich, and they tell you how much they love you. In reality, SEPTA is against you. If they loved you so much, why are they giving us such a hard time and forcing us to file unfair labor practice against them as far as pay? If they let you off due to the COVID-19, if they let you off, they recoup that money from the government. So they're not losing anything, but they take the position that they're taking this and they're trying to make things hard for us. So what we have to do, brothers and sisters, we have to fight back. And please get out of the notion of thinking SEPTA care about you. My position is that I'm going to do what I have to do. If you have to call out, you call out. We're going to fight the fight. Stop worrying about calling out, giving them enough time to fill the run or enough time to fill the shift. The hell with SEPTA. This is what they've shown us. They've shown us they don't care nothing about us, and we must start to show them the same thing. Unfortunately, we care more about the riding public than they do. I'm calling them out. Yes, I am. They don't give a damn about this riding public. As you know, the people out on the bus, they've cut the schedules, okay? So if you're out there working, if there's a run that comes open during the course of the day, they're making a decision not to fill that run. So if you're not filling that run, what kind of message are you sending to the riding public? You put out a hand schedule. On the hand schedule, if you say, just for sake of saying, that the bus is supposed to be 11 o'clock, if that run, somebody calls out sick, you have somebody willing to do the run. You'll say, no, we're not going to fill that run. Let the run stay open. We have people running this company don't understand that we cannot leave our product, and this, I'm not saying disrespectfully, we cannot leave our product, which is the passenger, on the corner. If it's not for the passengers, we're not in business. It's unfortunate that we have people in the union that care more about the riding public than SEPTA does itself. So these are some of the things that we're going back and forth with. With SEPTA, we're fighting over issues that we should not have to fight over. All that's going on, you have a whole workforce with SEPTA that's still working from home. It would appear to me that when you have soldiers in the battlefield out there fighting, out there among, the COVID-19, you have our maintenance guys out there cleaning up, the mess out there on the street. We have our people working on these unsafe conditions that you would do things to make life a little more bearable for them. But that's not what they did. They're trying to make things harder for you. In the midst of what we're going through right now with this unfortunate incident with George Floyd, we have a manager. SEPTA decided to move their managers around. We also have a guy, Criscetti, who was a manager who was accused of, excuse the language, referring to one of our operators as a black bitch, and he fired her. That was backed up by another manager. They took him, Mr. Criscetti, they moved him somewhere else. But now they're bringing him back again into the mix to supervise people again. What message is that sending to the rest of the managers, everybody knows the story, that it's okay for you to call a woman a black bitch? That's okay. It's okay for you to fire this woman. We got it back to work, but that's not the point. That he can have this type of behavior and still work for SEPTA and still supervise SEPTA. Now, take it back a step further. When this individual, the 234 member, he got into some trouble, and we have the answers from labor, we have the answers from the chief officers. They said he was a thug. They call him a liar, right? But what did they do? They promoted him. Then once they promoted him, It was a situation where he pulled a stool from the guy who was sitting down. That individual filed a complaint. Nothing was done. This individual quit. Out of will and shot, when he's a will and shot, we have 8 or 9 different people who put in complaints to the IG. The IG came down, Inspector General's office, and investigated the employees. So with all this history of what's going on, you bring him back and let him supervise more 234 members? What is that saying from SEPTA to this membership? At a time that we in this unrest is going on around the country now, what kind of message is that sending? The last thing I want to talk about, I won't make this video too long, is I took some criticism. I made a decision during the protest that we would transport police, we would transport the National Guards, but we would not transport anybody that was arrested or detained or anybody of that sort. We would not do that. I made the decision as president, and I will make that decision again. Now let me make you understand, or try to get you to understand my position on this. As a union man, as a citizen, I'm not for anything that says we should defunct the police, get rid of I'm not for that. What we need to do is we need to get some oversight on the police department. What we need to do is we need to go and talk to the head of the police union and show him, maybe he don't see his racist ways, and show him that the things he's saying is racist, the things that he's saying is adding to the tension between the police department and the citizens. We have a whole list, a whole group of police out there that are good police. And we can't just throw them to the curb because you have some bad apples. What we need to do is come up with a way to deal with those bad apples. And I'm totally with that. When it comes to the protests, I support the protesters 100%. I support them 100%. And we will get into that more later on. There's a march coming up August the 28th, I believe it is, tentatively in Washington, D.C. We will be asking for people to participate in that, to show our support. And the international is also behind it. But again, we are not against the police department. We're not against the police department. We're against the actions of some of the police officers who have committed certain infractions. Now, back to what I was saying about the police union head. We had a guy, one of our members who was in one of the airlines unions that we represent. This member decided to go and do something to an airplane that could have caused a catastrophe. It was one of the pilots picked up on it before takeoff. This person was discovered. We had to disassociate ourselves with this individual. This individual was wrong. This individual could have caused people to lose their lives. We had to step away from this person. We had to say, he did it. He has to suffer the consequences. That's the same thing we need from the union of the Philadelphia Police. Stop supporting, stop trying to back up, stop trying to hide and cover up for bad police officers. What you're doing is you're putting all these good police officers in harm's way, trying to cover up for a few bad apples. Now, I'm going to catch some flack from that, which I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem who don't like it. I'm just saying this is how I feel. This is my position. I want you to understand where I am with this unfortunate George Floyd incident. I will put something out later on, going more into details of how my position on this, and I look forward to hearing from the membership, getting your opinions of whether you agree or disagree, so we can determine which direction the union should go in. So thanks for listening. God bless. Good night.